Hello, welcome back to teleSUR English. Please join us as we go live to Peru, where President Pedro Castillo addresses the nation to report about his government developments on its 4,100 years in office.
Alcaldes de los centros poblados, hermanos de las rondas campesinas, hermanos agricultores, jóvenes,
young people, farmers, teachers, educators, men and women from the region of Ayacucho and Peru. Once again, I come to the historical land of Ayacucho because he who fears nothing, he who owes nothing, fears nothing. For what represents this land is the effort and the courage of a people, because here on December 9th, 1824, the independence of Peru was finally achieved. In the year 1969, when I was born, these people fought for the gratuity of education, and this is why I have this feeling, and this is why I come here. This is why we are here, not just to recall history, but to continue making history as people of this country. In Lima, we sealed the blockade against oppression, and we proved that nothing is impossible when a country wants to forge the destination. That we want to concrete that destination today. People from Peru have chosen a farmer, an educator to guide the destinies of this nation, not just to continue with the same. We have arrived here, and at the moment when the natural resources were not in the hands of the Peruvian people, we oppose a state that was not given possibilities to Peruvians, because at that time health and education were never a right but a service, and all the governments before failed to help their people because corruption and impunity stopped our development. And we reached this place, and we found a collapsed health system, which brought about 200,000 Peruvian people dying of COVID-19. Children that actually did not attend education and did not have vaccines. And we found, when we arrived in power, 3 million Peruvian people that had lost their jobs, and millions of Peruvian people that demanded a vaccine. And we found hundreds of social conflicts that had never been met. Forgotten peoples that had no water or electricity. Hospitals and schools that were destroyed and shattered. Lack of health and complete abandonment. We found Peruvian people suffering of hunger, and we saw crisis and corruption, problems of insecurity, problems of common delinquency, the drug traffic and human traffic was part of the picture at that time we arrived here. This is the country that we have found. This is the country that we have received. From the first day that we started to work, I can tell you now that we have achieved important things, yet however, some people still claim that we have done nothing, while they for 200 years spend their time stealing from their countries, from our country. They did nothing, and today they want a farmer Today, they want this farmer to solve the problems of the country in 100 days. My government has a clear path, and it is established in the general policy of the government. We have clear guidelines to transform the country. As many of you, I have worked hard to earn my days, and that's why I have always lived with dignities. I have a clear line imposed by the people. We are going through structural changes so that the state is able to reach those less favored. No one imposes an agenda on me. I have no boss. My boss is my people, so that because of you, I'm here. Likewise, from the campaign to the government, I was called a communist, and that I'm going to take away your properties. And 100 days later, my question is: have I taken a home of anybody? Have I taken a home from anybody? Have I taken properties from anybody? Those are all lies. From this historical square, I have asked entrepreneurs to invest in our land and to be able to create jobs to our people and to respect the workers of our country. Every time I talk about renegotiating a contract, the next day some areas call me a radical. So the dollar goes up, the prices go up, and they claim that I am to blame for this. In the end, what they want is for things to remain the same. The government of the people, things are going to change. So this is why today I can announce proudly the result of the 100 days concerning gas. Today, together with the people, we initiate the massification of gas for all the Peruvian population. We have started this process of renegotiation of gas to the consortium of Camisea, but I insist that all negotiations will be within a legal framework. We want to talk contract for the benefit of the people. We want a transparent and open dialogue with the enterprise because we believe that all Peruvians must benefit from gas. How is it possible that our brothers from Ayacucho do not benefit from gas and that they are paying enormous amounts for this resource when they have very close by Camisea's oil fields? So how is it possible that the inhabitants of the south of the country are still waiting for the promise of accessing natural gas? Gas belongs to all Peruvian people, and this is why I announce that I have taken the decision of extending the availability of gas to the entire country. Curima, Cusco, Arequipa, Ayacucho, Tacna, Ubayali, and other regions. For this purpose, we have also presented the project of law for massification of gas to the Assembly. The new policy of massification of gas will allow us to recover these energetic resources for all the Peruvian people. This is my struggle. On the reactivation of the economy, millions of Peruvians lost their jobs during the pandemic and became new poor. So for this reason, our priority in these 100 days has been to reactivate the economy. And we have achieved an advancement in the vaccination process, and so we expect a quick reactivation of the economy. The Ministry of Economy and Finance has projected that at 10.5% the economy will increase this year. And many analysts believe the economy will increase by 12%. Between July and September this year, 300,000 jobs were created. So thousands of our countrymen will have a possibility to have a new job. In 100 days, we have used 14 million soles to maintain the operations of basic services and also to guarantee the process of vaccination. And we have used over 2,000 million soles for the vaccination of the Peruvians, 1,800 for the acquisition of vaccines, we have also used 200 millions for the stabilizing the price of gas and reduce the price of gas for homes. We have asked the Congress on the tax reforms to generate new resources, guaranteeing that gathering these funds come from the enterprises and people that have more wealth. The resources that we will have will be directed to financing a fairer system of health and an education system with quality for all Peruvian population. In September, we started the delivery of a bonus for family support. This implies an injection of 5,000 million soles to our economy, So that means 350 soles for adults in order to alleviate economic pressure. We expect to benefit 13 million Peruvians. We have also started the unblocking of big projects of public investment, like Hospital 31 in Lorena, Cusco, which now has an investment of 740 million soles. And also we want to do the same with the hospital of Huamanga that are still pending, 2 of them. By the end of September, we signed a contract for construction of a new terminal at the international airport, Jorge Chavez, that will start at the end of this year, generating 3,000 jobs and an investment of $700,000. We also started the jobs for a new airport, Chincheros, and this will imply an investment of $2,000 million that will benefit the region of Cusco, Curima, Ayacucho, Ica, Puno, Tacna, Oquegua, and Madre de Dios. This month, we'll have the first stone of the main works at the terminal. Likewise, we initiated the biggest water work in the country that has an investment of 1,200 million soles that will benefit San Juan de Miraflores and Villa María del Triunfo, among other works. We launched the program Peru en Marcha with an investment of 520 million soles. With them, we will implement 133 projects of water and black waters in the entire Peru. We have transferred resources for more than millions of soles to regional governments and local governments for the execution of new projects, among them schools, roads, prosecutor's office, water, among others. So I hope that these resources that have been transferred reach the poor population, and we urge the governments to control the resources that have been donated. Concerning vaccination and health, when the government of the people started, only 15% of the population had been vaccinated. In 100 days, we've been able to vaccinate 60% of the population. In 100 days, we have quadrupled the percentage of vaccination. We are protecting lives and health of Peruvian people. Without them, it wouldn't be able to restore the economy and to reroute the country. 3 months ago, many young people believed that they could be immunized by the end of the year, or by 2022. Today we have inoculated the adult population, but also we are protecting children from 12 to 17 years of age. Over 660,000 educators with complete vaccination. Thousands of workers of health have already had a third dose, and we have started this third dose to population over 65. We have contracts with provision of more than 140 million doses of the vaccine for young people. In our country, we will have received 75 million doses by the end of the year, this year, and 66 of them will be also brought next year in order to protect the protection of all the Peruvian people, and we will contain the disease. Over 1 million samples have been done. We've brought 12 million cubic meters of oxygen for the supply of this strategic resource, including the acquisition of 64 new oxygen plants and 3 other cryogenic plants. We have hired over 55,000 professionals and technicians of health in the modality of complementary services of health, including the reopening of the first level of care with 2,500 centers and 2,000 community COVID centers that will favor the social participation. Mobilization of 3,000 million soles to finance plans of a possible third wave of COVID-19. So, second, agrarian reform. I was able to educate myself, and I was able to become a teacher, and this is why, with the experience I have, we have started a second reform, agrarian reform. The country needs to support agriculture. Agriculture, in particular, small agriculture, has been historically forgotten and postponed in our country, and this is why
Lanzamos desde la
We
fortaleza de
launched
Sacsayhuamán en el Cusco
from El
la
Cusco
segunda reforma agraria,
the second agrarian
que no
reform
significa
law, which
expropiación ni
does not
confiscación,
mean expropriation
sino
or
acciones
confiscation,
concretas en
but
favor de la
concrete
agricultura.
actions to
En
promote
las próximas
agriculture.
semanas y meses
Next week and
haremos un
months,
nuevo impulso a la conectividad rural,
we will make a
acceso a
push for
créditos,
connectivity, rural
apoyo
connectivity,
técnico,
access to credit,
compras
technical
públicas de
support,
alimentos,
purchase
siembra
of
y
food,
cosechas de agua,
and planting
fondo de la
and
mujer rural,
harvesting, and
entre
also water.
otros. Vamos a reivindicar a más de
We're
2
going to
millones de hombres y
reivindicate
mujeres del
over
campo
2 million
y colocar a la
farmers,
agricultura
and we're going to place
en el sitial que le
agriculture
corresponde.
in the place it belongs.
A nuestros agricultores
To our farmers,
les informo que vamos a lanzar un
I can
programa de
tell you
bonos
that we're going to start a
y
program for
reintegro por la compra de
fertilizing, and we're
fertilizantes
going to buy
como
fertilizers
medida extraordinaria
as an extraordinary
para
measure
reducir el
to
impacto
reduce the
negativo en la
impact, the
economía de los
negative
productores
impact
agrarios de la agricultura familiar
of
con un presupuesto
family
de 300 millones de soles.
agriculture with a budget of 200 million soles. We have
Más de
passed
83,000
and
créditos
approved
en favor de los
83,000
pequeños y
credits
productores
in favor
agrarios
of small
por un
producers,
monto total
small
de
farmers,
967
for
millones de soles,
over
que han
967
permitido
million soles.
continuar reactivando la economía rural,
So that has
asegurando
favored
la
a
presente
continuation
campaña agrícola.
of a promotion of agriculture
Transferimos
in Peru. And
400
we have
millones
transferred
de soles del
400
Fondo Agroperú
million soles
al Agrobanco
to Agro
para cubrir la
Peru
demanda de
Fund to
productores
cover
en el año 2021.
for the demand of producers.
Están en construcción
And we are building
200 cochas, así como 400 kilómetros de
And
zanja de infiltración
we're building
en beneficio de
400 kilometers of
5,614
irrigation
familias,
ditches to
logrando
benefit
almacenar
thousands of families, and we have been able to
más
store
de 6 millones de
over
metros cúbicos
6 million
para un área de
cubic
cultivos
meters
de
in an
1950
area of crops
dedicadas a la agricultura familiar.
that have been devoted to agriculture,
En cuanto a la
the family
educación,
agriculture. Concerning education,
un maestro de escuela
a teacher
conoce la realidad educativa
knows
de su país.
the educational reality of
Por
his
ello,
country, and
Mi
consequently,
compromiso con todos los
my
peruanos
commitment
para
to
que
all
todos reciban una
Peruvian
educación de
people
calidad.
is for them to get a quality
Se aprobó
education, and we have passed
el plan de emergencia en
the
en el
emergency-
sistema educativo,
the emergency plan in the
Acordado
educational system,
y
agreed
consensuado con
and
todos los
approved
sectores
by
involucrados
all
como
the
respuesta
sectors
ante el
involved
problema
as
educativo
a
nacional
response to the
afectados
national
por los
education
estragos del COVID-19.
issues, and also affected by the
Hemos
COVID-19. We have transferred
200 millones de soles para el
200
pago
million
de la deuda
soles
social
for
de los
the
maestros,
debts of the
y
social
antes del fin de
debt,
este año pagaremos 800
and we will
millones de soles más
pay
adicionales.
800 million other soles.
En marzo del 2022
In March 2022,
volveremos a las clases presenciales.
we will return
Nuestros niños y nuestras niñas
to
deben
the
regresar
lessons,
seguros
and our children
a clase.
will return to their schools.
Y para eso
And for that
no
purpose,
solamente vacunar
not
y
only we
darles
need
condiciones de salud,
to inoculate
sino
the population,
también
but also we need
tener maestros
to
con
have-
seguridad en su trabajo.
to have teachers
Que ya
that
no
have
está-
safety
ya no
in their
estén
jobs,
durante décadas con contratos temporales,
and also
sino que
that they do
tengan
not
las
have
condiciones de
temporary
estabilidad
contracts, but
que
they
faciliten su
have
compromiso
st-
con su comunidad.
contracts with stability to enable the commitment to their
Un
communities.
total
A total
de
amount of
54,689 locales educativos
1,000 schools
cuentan con 400
have
millones de soles
400 million
para el
soles for
mantenimiento
the
de la
maintenance
infraestructura educativa.
of their educational structure,
Instalación de
facilities,
estaciones de lavado de manos y adquisición de kits de higiene.
facilities of basins,
Se inició la distribución
and we started this
de
distribution
materiales
of
y recursos educativos
materials
para el
and
año
educational
2022
resources
en
for
español.
2022 in
Por
Spanish,
primera vez
and for the first time
en 41 lenguas
in
originarias que
41
beneficiarán a
indigenous
más de 6 millones de
languages
escolares
that will
de
benefit millions
77,326 colegios
and
públicos
millions of people and thousands of public schools with an investment of 183 million
Están en
soles.
marcha
And in
91
process,
inversiones regionales
that have been performed by local governments, and this management has been completed with a transfer of 99 million soles for the year 2022. In housing, the government of the people, in 5 years, we will close the loop of water and internet. In Arequipa, we have started the work of water and treatment of residual water. This is a project with an investment of 198 million soles to benefit thousands of inhabitants. For Puno, we have the agreement with UNOPS for the lease of the residual waters, which is an investment of 980 million soles for the benefits of the local population. Likewise, we have transferred more than 376 million to enable the access to housing, to proper housing for more than 16,000 families that will have their own house, housing credits and housing subsidies, and that implied an investment of 524 million soles and created 18,000 jobs. The country is not for sale. The country needs to be defended. More families protected in the face of cold weathers. And we have built 2,000 bioclimatic houses to protect from snow and from extreme weathers in the rural areas. In these houses, we have invested 72 million soles and will benefit 10,000 inhabitants. Work. Thousands of workers have been traditionally exploited, and that I won't let it any longer. I won't allow it any longer. So the suspension of work has been eradicated, and this affected thousands of our colleagues and workers. No formal worker will earn less than 1,000 soles a month until we reach a minimum wage. Over 6,000 workers that are informal workers have been incorporated to the electronic payroll through the system of inspection to work. And this insertion into these payrolls impacts over 400,000 people. And austerity measures. From the time I entered the government, I've been able to witness how many public officials have a lot of privileges. So that's why I announced that today, right now, I'm going to sign a regulation that prohibits officials from traveling first class in a government of the people. Government officials will travel as any other citizen of a country. And I announce furthermore that we will sell the presidential airplane, and this money will be used for education and health for the children of Peru. Citizenship, safety of our citizens has been our priority, and for that reason, in coordination with National Police, that will also have benefits pretty soon, we have implemented 36,000 police operations and 26 mega operations.
drogas ilícitas.
of illegal drugs.
Anticorrupción.
These are anti-corruption measures.
La corrupción y la impunidad
Corruption and impunity
nos han hecho mucho daño
have
por décadas.
caused enormous harm for decades and have damaged our country.
1.452 kilos de clorhidrato de cocaína.
Thousands of kilos of cocaine.
Destrucción de 18.566
Was-
kilos de droga.
We were able to destroy thousands of kilos of illicit drugs.
Anticorrupción.
Anti-corruption measures.
La corrupción y la impunidad
Corruption and impunity
nos han hecho mucho daño
have caused
por décadas.
harm for
Han
decades
hecho mucho daño a nuestra patria.
and have harmed our
Gobierno del pueblo
country in a government
que se roba un sol.
of the people. Nobody is going to steal one soul from our country. I address public officials. If you steal one single soul from the budget, I will be the first to denounce it. So this is why we are preserving the Congress. We are proposing a package of constitutional regulations, and I urge from this moment that this package be approved so that we can fight corruption. We will not only denounce the official, but also the person that promoted this corruption. So we are promoting this law to punish we need to clean the politics. Peruvian people are tired of politicians to be corrupt, and today we have presented a project to Congress so that people that have some kind of fiscal punishment can no longer participate in governments.
Nunca más puertas giratorias. Existe la mala costumbre
We have
del más vivo que entra al Estado para ocupar un puesto para velar por sus intereses particulares. Y cuando ingresa,
the tradition of people entering the state to try to benefit themselves and respond to their own interests and not the interests of people. To women, my recognition to Peruvian women.
Inmediatamente. Cobro de deudas.
Collection of debts. It is urgent. It is mandatory that the historical debts be canceled in the favor of all Peruvians. The state has debts to collect for over 20 years. And only the 100 first big enterprises owe us 30,000 million soles to the state. And my question is, why have the former governments not been able to collect them? We will do this. this time. And for this reason, we've created a high-level commission to initiate the process of dialogue directly with enterprises to collect those debts that for decades have been canceled. In the same tone, we approved the recent decision of the courts in favor of the state. Peru belongs to all Peruvians. Before, decisions were taken in an office, in a four-wall office, and the capital, and majors have to travel constantly to Lima to ask for resources. That is over. The government of the people has to be together with the people. We will reach every corner of the country. You, mayors and regional governors, will no longer have the need to go to Lima. We will go to the more remote and further areas. So this is why I announced today my plan, reaching my people, I thought there was no water in Ayacucho. And we will tour every corner of our country to listen to the demands of the regional government. Social conflicts. Only with dialogues are we able to solve problems. We know that our brothers have demands for decades that have not been heard, and we know that their demands have been frustrated, and I come from those demands and those struggles, and this is why I understand your feeling. But I urge you, I ask you to work together with us and to work thinking about what really matters to the country. We have inherited diverse mining conflicts, oil conflicts, environmental conflicts, without them being solved before. And I am aware that they have existed without any solution. We have not found a solution on the part of a state. It is important, the development of a project, but it is also important to think about sustainability, acting with responsibility and balance, respecting culture, customs, and the principles of the nearby areas. And we bet for a social mining and responsible mining. Our government has been implementing a new preventive approach to cope with social conflicts. So this implies the participation of different ministries and actors involved. We have a commitment to see to the fair demands of the population. They have allowed us in recent days to create dialogue tables in Purina-Cucho and the region of Anchorage. We will never be against the people, brothers and sisters. I believe it is important to point out that about the Constitutional National Assembly, which is a popular cry, and we have said it in front of the Congress. And today, this instance of people and organized people will have to assume their own path, dear comrades. These are some of the actions that we have been implementing to cover the objectives of the change that have been set by our government. Political issues and confrontation have stopped us from showing our achievement. So in order to widen and complement the balance of our first 100 days as of next week, And every morning we will decentralize and travel immediately to the different areas, regions. So as of tomorrow, each and every one of our ministers will perform a balance of their branches, and we will no longer forget about listening to the people. I urge the ministers that are here, and I tell them that they are constant evaluation. If they don't work, officials that don't work will have to go home. So just like 200 years ago, our brave heroes fought for the independence. Today, we're waging an enormous battle. This time to liberate ourselves from another big problem, which is poverty, corruption, inequality, discrimination, that so much is affecting our country. From Ayacucho, I call upon all men and women in this country without any kind of limitation to powers of state and institutions, to political forces, to entrepreneurs, businessmen, workers, to say that now this is a time of national reconstruction. This is a task that involves us all. As our Quechua's predecessors used to say before doing a big task, un kumaya, one single force, one single heart, and one single direction, which is a direction of progress and social justice for all Peruvians. Long live Ayacucho, long live Peru. Thank you very much for the Peruvian people.
Bien, ha sido entonces las palabras del presidente de la República, Pedro Castillo Terrones, quien ha dado cuenta.
We were listening to Peruvian President Pedro Castillo, who addressed the nation to report on his administration development during the first 100 days in office. The head of state highlighted the critical situation Peru was in when he took power, and the liabilities that other governments left behind, like poverty, hunger, corruption, insecurity, delinquency, drug and human trafficking. Castillo also reminded the constant attacks his administration had suffered from opposition groups that tries to undermine his campaign promises and also conduct a smear campaign on his intentions. The leader also explained he seeks a fair and transparent dialogue with all social and political sectors in Peru. He highlighted social programs that his government instructed, like the massification of gas supplies for all the Peruvian population and free education. Castillo also referred to the vaccines acquisition, public health funding, and the COVID relief economic plan as achievements of his administration. He pledged to boost agriculture and transport in the Indian nation, and also announced the resume of learning and academic activities once the vaccination campaign advances. The mandatory also said his government will implement programs on behalf of workers with the establishment of a minimum wage for formal employees and a system of control for the informal workers, stressing he will cooperate with local authorities to ensure these benefits reach every Peruvian citizen. The mandatory also referred to climate change, climate funding, and how his government will tackle this pressing issue. We will provide you more details in upcoming news briefs. Stay with us.